Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. I want to touch on a couple of things about the Maui fire and missing children. I'm making this video because I was at work today, and this stuff's been weighing heavy on me since it started. And I'm asking anybody that watches this video, please just stick with me to the end and try to understand what it is I need to say. We all know what happened. It's a tragedy. Everything is still unfolding. People are still trying to, figure things out. And one of the biggest things that we keep coming across is video after video of people asking the governor, the mayor, the chief of police, where are the children? Okay. And it's been weighing really, really heavy on me. And the same thing, people have been asking and trying to find out, and there's been a report here or there where a child has been found or whatever the case may be, right? So like I said, please stay with me on this. Before I get too sidetracked, just want to say to all the new subscribers, thank you. Please comment, like, share, subscribe to this video. Give it a thumbs up, and pass it around. Okay, now, the first thing I want to say is this article right here. It says more than 2,000 children from Lahaina public schools still missing after Maui wildfires. Now, they said that that day, they said there's about 3,000 kids in the school system. About 400 go to school outside of the, I guess, where the fire zone was. 200 do virtual learning, which tells me they're doing homeschooling online, and the rest of them are in public schools. Okay, now when this whole thing first started, they said that the kids were sent home from school that day. Now the story has changed that I've been finding out, looking up on certain sites, where that supposedly school was closed that first day of school because of the coming situation. Okay? But still, when the topic is brought up about where's the children, it still mums the word. I mean, up to the point where when the man was confronted, I'm sure everybody has seen that video, he really had nothing to say. He was literally speechless when he was being confronted, when one of the people were asking him, you know the numbers, where are the children? Okay, so a couple of quick things. Now, like I said, please stay with me on this. You'll see where I'm getting at. And it's kind of making me sick to my stomach, because if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Okay? People will send me proof in the comment section or whatever the case is, fine. But if I'm right or somewhere near being right, this is actually going to turn a lot of people's stomach. Okay? So, kids were either sent home from school, which is still the narrative, saying that that's why a lot of people want to find out what happened to the kids, because they're saying that all these kids were alone. So they suffered horribly because they had nobody there, no parents, so you could only imagine their horror, their screams, whatever the case is. Okay? It says over here there are still 850 people missing from the Maui wildfires, but a new report from the Hawaii State Department of Education shows that there are more than 2,000 children who are unaccounted for in the public school system. That's a lot of kids. Okay, we all agree, and I've been saying it in my other videos, everybody's been saying it. That's a lot of kids, that are missing. So the reports are going that, sadly, they all perished in the fires. The fires were so intense, there's no way of telling, because it's, there's nothing there. There's no remains because of the fire. Okay, now this is where I'm going to start trying to bring in the points so you guys could understand where I'm going at with this. There was one report, it's out there, where somebody was out there, being interviewed, and they said that, in some of the burned cars that, that there was actually I hate to say it, but we got to say it, that there was actually, you know, the bones of babies in their car seats. Okay. There was a report of a child that was missing. They found him, but sadly, he passed away, you know, before they found him, but they found him. Now, mind you, even the chief of police is saying, you know, that the fire was so intense that it was melting metal. That's how intense it was. Okay? So I don't have to go any more into this article because this right here explains one thing. Now I'm going to show you some video clips real quick, and I just want everybody to pay attention. Because like I said, stay with me, and I'm not trying to get you to watch the whole video, you know, to make it count. No, stay with me because the last thing I'm going to show you is going to make people look at all this in a different way. And like I said, I hope that I'm wrong. But while I was at work today, something was bothering me, and you know, I was just like, man, you know, what is it? What is it? What is it? And then it just popped in my head, and it turned my stomach. And I'll show that to you in a few minutes, but I'm going to show you a couple of video clips real quick. I want you to pay attention. Like I said, I'm going to show you some video clips real quick. Just pay attention and see if you can pick up what I picked up. And it triggered something, like I said, and it something just popped in my head, like a bell went off, a light went off, and I was like, okay, wow, wait a minute. So I'm going to play this clip, and we'll keep taking it from there. So like I said, please stay with me.
Be careful, something will hit, right?
Now these are some people that were recording. You got somebody here running.
Oh my God. Oh no, we cannot get out. We cannot get out.
So they're having a hard time.
That tree's on fire. Right there.
Getting out. Now that was at 4:30. You can see, I mean, the wind's picking up.
That's scary.
There's cars all on the road. It's getting dark. Now this is not that it's getting dark. It's just that there's so much smoke that is blocking out the sun. So it's not like it's 3 o'clock in the morning or anything like that. But you can see all the cars. I mean, they're like jammed up. You know, you got more people here running.
This way.
Okay. You got people here walking.
People walking.
Okay.
Look at these old people.
You got more people walking.
Look at this.
Lady there with a child. Okay.
Okay. Radio or anything doesn't work?
Oh yeah, good idea.
More cars are backed up. You know.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an
Is it water thing?
This is a water truck.
Those Coors Lights and chill. Take the afternoon off.
Now from 4:05 to 4:51, you've seen what they said. They haven't seen a fire truck, a fire engine. Okay, it was right.
One more thing. Chill.
Is it water thing?
This is a water truck.
I'm sorry, but that's what she said. You can go back. And this is at 4:51, so that's about roughly 45 minutes, something like that, 46 minutes
I
later.
think we're going the right
But
direction.
again, you see
now.
more people out there.
Yeah, listen to that stuff.
Okay?
Everybody else trying to get these fires contained, and it's all come in agreement that these winds slow
Now,
down. And
traffic is moving somewhat. More people there.
458 on our Cape Going
we're okay now, though.
to all of you.
Right?
With all
We were
of
going
See
the
more
wrong
people.
direction.
You can see the wind is blowing stuff down. 5:15. So this is basically almost an hour has gone by.
Okay, so mahalo nui.
Okay.
Who's Maui, letting us know what's happening up there. Also, Seabury Hall. Due to
Now,
continued impact
there are
of
many
natural
videos
fire.
like this circulating the internet. Okay, it's showing what's going on. There's still video coming out, new video. Like this is the first time I'm seeing this today.
Oh, he's going straight.
But it supposedly came out not too long ago. See, you see the cars moving, you see people Okay?
Unpredictable conditions have caused multiple
I
evacuations.
have never seen that ever before.
It says the power lines are down, people are moving, cars are moving, I should say.
Look at that shit. Fucking
And,
power
and
lines.
this is where supposedly it started clearing up from, I think they call it Front Street, so people were able to start getting
Our
through.
neighborhood.
Now this is 2 days later. Obviously you can see what it says. You can see the destruction, how it, I mean, it just tore things up.
I know we were that close to the beach.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause the video there. I'm gonna show you another clip.
There. At least 114 people have been killed. The Maui County mayor now says 850 people are officially listed as missing. Lilia Luciano is on the island of Maui, where she spoke with a mother who desperately tried to get home to save her teenage son.
Okay, now we've heard those reports already. They stopped it at 114. They said about 850 people missing, but the article you seen said that there's still 2,000 school children that are missing. Okay, now I read another article today that ever since they put out a list of people's names, it came out till about 388 people, that people can rest assured a little easier because supposedly at least half of those people have made contact to say that they're okay. Now, in one of my other videos, I did say that a lot of people will be displaced, so hopefully that's the case. Some people got away, and they just needed time to find a way to make connections and call back. You know, obviously, if they ran for their lives, a lot of people probably lost their cell phones and stuff like that, and trying to get off the, off that part of the island, get somewhere farther, and trying to get their bearings together and say, okay, now they seen that their name. A lot of times when people leave somewhere where there's a catastrophe or something, they forget to. They forget to call back and say, because they're too busy looking for family members trying to find out. So now that the word is out, it's like, okay, now they need a head count. So they said supposedly out of that 388, a big portion have called and said that they're fine. Now the authorities have to confirm that 100%, because it could be anybody saying yes and it's not true. Now, like I said, stay with me on this. Now, this mother. This is just, I don't know if everybody heard, but there's a story circulating where a little boy was found on top of his dog. Now, the original headline that came out a few days ago said, I don't know why it said that what they saw were the bones of a small child laying on top of the bones of a dog as if trying to embrace the dog. I don't know how that story changed, but I'm assuming this story right here, I'll let you listen to it, this is the one they're talking about. So pay attention to what the mother says.
On what should have been Guillermo Fuentes' 15th birthday, friends and family honored his life at the same park where he learned to walk as a baby.
He had a very kind heart. A very good heart.
The teen was home alone, enjoying the last day of summer vacation, when flames tore through the town of Lahaina.
We
saw the strong smoke in the air.
Fuentes' adoptive mom, Luz Vargas, who runs a local cleaning service, was working 5 miles away. As soon as they learned the fire was ravaging the area, she and her husband Andres jumped in the car and raced toward their burning neighborhood. With traffic at a standstill, she took off running.
I was told, don't go, but I responded, my son.
At one point, Vargas says she ran into a police barricade.
I threw myself on the floor. I lifted my hands up and I begged God.
After running past the officers, she says a man on a motorcycle took her to the front line of the fire, where a team of first responders assured her the area had been cleared.
Now you heard that. The area had been cleared. Where other reports of people saying that they were trapped. They could not move. Okay? And that was an earlier report from a guy named supposedly Salty or something like that said that he noticed all the cars were jammed up and he was wondering why people were still in their cars while he was walking by. He made it all the way to the beginning of Front Street, something like that, where everything was clear. Didn't understand why they were telling people to go back into the fire. That she's saying that she was told the area was cleared. Now keep that in mind, that phrase, that sentence, the area was cleared. Stay with me, people, because once I tell you, this is going to make you think this differently and it's going to turn your stomach. Listen, keep listening to what this woman says. Please bear with me. The video might be a little longer than usual, but bear with me. I have a point.
I was told there's nobody there now. Have faith that your son got out.
2 days later, the family finally made it to the devastated home.
Todo consumido.
When we arrived, everything had been consumed by the fire. But when I got to his bedroom, he was there, lying and hugging my dog. But he was not as I expected, in ashes. God maintained him like this, so we knew it was him.
Vargas's husband Andres and their son Josue wrapped Calleros' remains in a tarp and carried his body half a mile to a police station.
Now you heard that. She said his body wasn't what they thought, in ashes. So they took his remains. So it's safe to say that maybe this is the boy that they were talking about, that they found their bones. But she said, the mom, that God took care of him. So we could assume that it was the bones or a badly burnt body where they were able to wrap him up and carry him somewhere else. Okay, let's continue.
When I get home at night, I'm flooded with the memories. I try to be strong.
Now the family is left grieving not only the life lost, but what could have been.
I wish I could have made more memories with him. He was too young. If we still had time, I know he would have been a very, very, very good man.
Okay. Now I'm going to try to get to the point that I'm trying to make. They said that in the beginning that the children were sent home from school. Okay? Now the story has changed that schools were closed that day because of the situation that was unfolding. All right? So, this woman says that she had to rush home from work. So we don't know if her son went to school, but it seems like she's saying that he stayed home because schools were closed. Okay, so we can say that maybe there's a lack of communication. Okay, where first the report says that all the kids went to school that day and they all were sent home from school, or that they were all told school is closed that day, so all the kids stayed home from school. Okay? Now, if that's the case, because then I was thinking, well, if the kids went to school and they did roll call, unless the schools were burnt down, it's hard to get those records. But if the teachers got away, or at least some of the teachers, they should go to the teachers and find out how many kids were in your class that day. 15, 20, 30, to try to get a better number, because the chief of police, the mayor, and the governor do not have those numbers. If you look at all the videos, not my videos, but videos online, all over social media, these guys are very tight-lipped on giving a specific number. And everybody keeps asking, why? Why? But you just heard that when the woman was trying to get home to her son, she was told the area was cleared. Obviously, if that was the case, if people did go around to clear the area, then that means that there should be more kids out there alive. Maybe they did do that and her son panicked and stayed behind. Now here's where I'm coming with my points, because there's more than one point. If all these kids were home from school because of that day, you've seen in the beginning of the video, I was showing you some video of two people driving around, videotaping. All you seen was grown-ups in the street besides that one lady that was walking with the little girl was dressed in pink. If you look at all the videos that are circulating, and there are hundreds, all you see is grown-ups all over the place. And this is where people are not paying attention. If all those kids were home from school, how come there weren't kids in the street panicking and running around leaving their residence? Grown-ups were making it out of the houses. You mean to tell me all those kids panicked and stayed inside? I know what it is to be in a fire as a child. I was in a fire when I was younger, and it was where I lived. The fire started in the kitchen that was by the front door, and my first instinct wasn't to run back into the bedroom. I was only about 10 years old. I timed it to the front door and got out alive. Kids will be daring when they are basically with their backs against the wall. They will try to dash and be bold. Believe it or not, kids, especially boys, they will be bold enough to try to run through a fire. Okay, so as I'm thinking about this at work, I'm thinking something, I know there's something there. I just can't put my finger on it. But I know there's something there, and it's been bothering me for days, and it was bothering me today. And I'm thinking about all this, and I'm like, well, this woman got home. She said that the place was destroyed, but she was still able to find her son, which should have been the case in a lot of these areas that they were, scouring around. I mean, that what makes this one boy more special than the other 2,000 kids that are still missing? Okay? So then I started thinking, and I was like, when I get home, I'm gonna dig in a little deeper. But as soon as I said that, bam, it hit me. It fucking hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. So it took me a little bit of digging. And this is where it'll turn your stomach. Because if you look at all the video from the airports, all the photos from the airports, mostly grown-ups, hardly a child around. If you look at all the videos of everybody taking videos while they're driving around and there's fires going and the wind is blowing, it's only grown-ups. You barely see children. But supposedly, a lot of these children were without their parents, which means that if they were in their houses, there is no way these kids could have been inside their houses listening to all this chaos outside and not be scared enough to run outside. But the guy that was on a scooter told this little boy's mother that the area was cleared. He should be safe. And then, like I said, when it hit me, this is the point. This is what hit me, and this is the point I'm trying to make. Okay, now, everybody knows Tim Ballard and the movie he did about the child trafficking that's going on worldwide. This is what hit me, and you need to listen to this. This is what turned my stomach, that I'm thinking, I hope I'm wrong. But why are the police, why is the chief of police, why is the governor, why are the mayor so tight-lipped about the number of children missing, but yet they're saying there's about 2,000 children missing, but yet how come there's only been 2 or 3 bodies of the children missing? Pay attention, people. Listen to what he says.
specifically Ukraine a lot when it comes to trafficking, because the film focuses obviously on Latin America, South America, but we obviously with the war in Ukraine, we've seen an uptick in that part of the world.
Absolutely, yeah. Just last year, when the war broke out, my wife came to me late February and said, "Hey, you got to go find these 7 kids that we were processing for adoption out of our foundation." And I said, "Catherine, there's Russian missiles dropping. Like, I don't think I can do anything about these 7 kids." And a few hours later, Mel Gibson calls me and says the same thing, but he has like more kids, orphans, he's worried about in Ukraine. So we ended up partnering with a group with my good friends at Aerial Recovery and ended up running extraction operations. 6,000 women and children we relocated, a lot of orphans in there. But the scary thing was, once we were there, if human trafficking is a $150 billion a year business, people often ask, well, how do you get that many children into that kind of a market? And
did you hear that? How do you get that many children into a market? This is what turned my stomach, because I'm thinking, I pray this is not what happened. Listen to what he says.
And the answer is, it's what they call harvest time. Harvest time for traffickers is in the wake of a serious catastrophe, like an earthquake or a hurricane, or in this case, a war.
Or a war.
Because
did you hear that? Did you guys hear that? During the time of a catastrophe, a hurricane, an earthquake, a war, a massive wildfire. Let's continue.
You have how many hundreds of Ukrainian children crying over the dead bodies of their family,
right.
No one to take care of them, and a nice van shows up with blankets and food. They're going to get in. And so we tapped into an organization, a criminal organization, while we were in Ukraine, and this was a pedophile group that had been, they were all fugitives out of Holland. They had set up a political party there. It's called the PNVD. Basically, it's the party of, translates into the party of love and freedom. They use some.
Okay, now we don't have to keep going because everybody gets the gist. But you heard what he said. They pull up with vans, and kids are scared, and people come. I'll save you, and the kids, okay, they see a grown up. Their parents are not there. They get into the van thinking that being taken away from a catastrophe. You heard the man on the moped tell the woman the place was cleared. But meanwhile, everybody is saying on the reports that they were jammed up. They couldn't get out. That's why there were so many cars. How did they clear an area so quickly? And yet, people are saying that it was hard to get out. People that disobeyed what the police were saying, made it out a different way. They lived. And yet, the police chief, the mayor, and the governor are tight-lipped about what happened to the kids. Do you see what I'm talking about? They knew that something big was coming. No sirens, shut off the water, do whatever you got to do to disrupt the people. Now everybody's going crazy, and I'm surprised that nobody is thinking like this, and I understand why. Nobody wants to think like this. It'll turn your stomach. I get it, but it hit me today. I was like, wait a minute. How are they finding they're finding bodies, they're confirming bodies, they're doing this, but the number still comes up of how many kids are missing, but they don't have an exact number. But they know now that if there was over 3,000 kids in the school system, 400 were in other schools that weren't affected, 200 were doing virtual learning, which means that's homeschooling, because that's what they do in Florida and some other states. The mayor of Hawaii came out yesterday, I believe, and said that there are still 2,400 kids missing. No, technically, if those kids were home doing virtual schooling, that technically is actually 2,600 kids that are missing. Now let's take away a certain percentage that some of them did get out because their parents got home in time. But if you look at all the videos, people, online circulating with everybody running around in chaos, you do not see kids in the street. You don't see them in the street. One of the first reports that came out, one of the people that lived on a certain area said out of all the kids that lived in his neighborhood, he was told that all those kids perished. Now, this may sound like a big conspiracy theory. Granted, that's fine. But how do that many kids disappear? And you only find the remains of one child or maybe two children? One in particular that was found in the rubble of a house that burned just like all the rest? And yet, a guy on a moped told a woman, you can't go down the street. It's been cleared. Nobody's there. Or maybe that boy was one of the lucky ones that didn't leave the house. People say, you know what, that's impossible. People would have seen that happening. When people are running around in chaos, they're not paying attention to the little details. They're running around because they're trying to escape an impending situation. And if it needs to be done en masse, it will be done. Look at how quickly they cleaned up all those cars. How quickly they cordoned off areas where they built fencing, they put boulders. I mean, literally overnight, to stop people from being able to videotape off the highway and stuff. I'm talking miles. If you look at the videotape, they put up, fencing quicker than they put up the damn wall on the southern border. FBI agents running around. Just blocking every thousand yards, I believe they said. Cars of FBI agents and all kinds of security agencies in this area. And this is what's been bothering me, and it hit me that I remember what Tim Ballard said a while ago about how these pedophile rings use catastrophes, and I hate that he uses that term, but that's the term they use in that sick world. Not that he's sick, but they use what is called harvesting. When that big tsunami hit on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day back in, believe it was 2004 or 5 or something like that, out in the, where was it? Off of, not off the Middle East, off in Asia, where, it just swept through the islands. So many children disappeared. They said there was at least 100,000 deaths or something to that. But they said, X amount, thousands of children went missing. And the reason why it hit the airwaves was because a lot of the children that went missing from people that went there visiting on vacation that were from different parts of the world, from the UK, from America. So, not that one child's better than the other, but they realized, like, wow, a lot of these foreign kids who were here with their family on vacation, Christmas vacation, went missing. And to this day, they haven't been found. So now all these kids in Maui have gone missing. And people say, no, they perished in the fire. So they only found the bones of 1 or 2? Really? Out of thousands, out of hundreds, thousands now. Anything over 1,000 is, 2,000 is thousands. You're not finding more remains of children? Think about this, people. I know the video's long. Please stay with me. Look at all the video that's out there. You do not see hordes of kids running around the streets, screaming, panicking, because their parents are not around. Why? Why is it only grown-ups? And usually a grown-up with their child. What about all the other children? Because if the parents made it to collect all their children, then the death toll is not 114. the death toll has to be double the 2,000 kids that are missing. If all their parents found them, or at least one parent per child, or 2 children safely, let's say it like that, the death toll is not 114. The death toll is not 850. If they all perish, the death toll should be between 3,000 and 4,000. I'm True Outlaw Patriot. I hope you liked the video. Please comment, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, pass it around, think about it. Think about it, people. So what people need to ask, or what they need to do, is dig deeper and find out flight logs. How many planes left the island that day? How many boats, shipping boats with shipping containers left that day? You can't stick them all in cars and drive off. There's no highways to get off the island. There's only certain ways. Or maybe they're still on the island. It's a sick thought. But until people get answers, this is the way people have to think. And I don't know of any other way to look at it but say, well, wait a minute. With all the chaos, people getting off the island, people leaving to go back home, what better way than in plain sight for a cover-up? Remember, stay vigilant, keep praying, and keep praying for each other. Peace.